Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is another Seton's cast. Um, this is one of the oldest replays I have. It is a 2008 replay, so this game took place 6 years ago. Let's have a look. Here on beach we have an excellent player. It's Sun Tzu. He's a German guy, and I know him. We played a lot back in the days. He also was a very good air player, probably one of the best at that time. He's playing Styrbjorn beach for the South team. Here on air spot we have my good friend laPPen. He's playing air for the South side. He was always good wherever he played, although he was more of a naval player. But actually in 2008 I'm not even sure if that was the case. On front for the South team we have Mbalz-Es-Hari. I must admit I remember him, but I don't know who he was. I just remember him as being very good. Actually, we see this commander will be up front very late. You see there are 2 pigeons built and 2 mass extractors. And here on rock we have me playing Aeon on rock. I mean, I started in 2007, but I think I'm still not at very good level, but the level of play you will see was way lower than it is now. So let's have a look at the top side. We have Leaf playing Styrbjorn, also playing front. He seems to have a similar build order with 2 pigeons, 2 mass extractors. I do not know him, but I think he's very good. Let's see what's gonna happen. Here we have Blue Sun, another player I don't know, but I think this was overall a kind of a high-class game for that time on Seton's Clutch. Here we have JunkieSmurf, another player I don't know, but of course his name JunkieSmurf implied that he's probably a Smurf. And here we have a player I do know, VvsagevV. I remember him being very good. Let's speed it up and have a look at what's going on here. We see a hunter and scout. We see a lonely engineer. Oh no, we see an engineer, hunter and a scout, mantis and a scout actually. So depending, that is 2 hunters. So if the mantis arrives here and the hunters don't get microed, now the hunter is here, the engineer is in danger of dying. Very nice stuff here from Leaf. This was very good. He paid attention to his engineer, reclaimed the hunter. Good stuff. We see 1 engineer in a transport. So Sun Tzu probably going for the island. And we see actually 2 mantis here going through. Actually Sun Tzu is planning other stuff. Here we see a PD, very common build up front back then. Now Mbalz-Es-Hari cannot reach all this mass here until the PD is gone, of course. It looks like Sun Tzu got a transport and dropped the engineer up front to get some of this reclaim. But Leaf is paying attention. Leaf is actually quite low on health, 600 left. So we see also, you see here, the island has been taken. It looks like I built a couple of mass extractors before building the factory. That's what I always do not recommend to do so. We see here not even a factory plant, a couple of PDs. Both rock players have gotten their island rather uncontested. We see some Tech 1 air fight here. Looks like Sage has a lot of Tech 1 air and also Blue Sun. And we do not see a lot of Tech 1 air by me. And we do see no Tech 1 air at all by Sun Tzu. Looks like Leaf is getting an upgrade. This is Tech 2. We see artillery killing the PD, but the PD is shooting the Mantas. We now see a shield, the PD is still alive, 13 kills, 2 stars. We see artillery killing artillery, Tech 2 PD. Actually, he was getting Tech 2 as well and now has to retreat. So this looks like this has stabilized. We do not see any navy and no navy planned. We just see a couple of torpedo launchers here. We do not see any navy here. We do not see any navy here. We see Tech 2 navy here at minute 11 for me. Building a cruiser first. This was very common because now you don't want a cruiser first usually. Because a cruiser loses to frigates, a cruiser loses to subs, but of course back then no one built navy. You will see how this navy evolves around the place, and if you have a cruiser uncontested, it's like you have a mobile SAM launcher, which is worth a lot in my mind. You also have a good radar, so. We see now Leaf getting Tech 2 artillery, and this will sooner or later make the cruiser retreat. We see Tech 3 air. Actually, I'm gonna pause this a little. Let's have a look at the air build. Where is laPPen's commander? Here. We see he does not have RAS. He has an Tech 1 commander, no RAS. And we can see he's producing ASF since a couple of minutes with just 2 Tech 2 pigeons. He's building a Tech 3 one right now. So you see this air factory just costs 275 power, so you can probably power this whole engineers with a couple of Tech 2 pigeons. On the other hand, we see not upgraded commander. We see 1 Tech 2 pigeon and 1 Tech 3 pigeon, so the air build was very different back then. We see a lot of pigeons for me. We see a huge land spam, although those factories are paused. We see Tech 2 land now. We see Tech 2 land for the top front player as well. We see 4 Tech 2 pigeons for Sage getting Tech 3 on his commander, and we see ASF for the rock player here at minute 14 actually. He probably had it a lot earlier at minute 12 or so. He already has a couple of ASF. Let's have a look at the beach. The beach player has already a lot of Tech 3 build power. He's spamming Tech 2 pigeons. Of course, when you have Tech 3 engineers, it's better to spam Tech 3 pigeons. We see a lot of build power being generated. We see Tech 3 air with restorers. No upgrades on the commander. What do I have here? I'm getting Tech 3 on my commander. So 4 pigeons, 1 I gave to front. Of course our front player has no power build. we see now in those ships pretty much uncontested. They will have to retreat eventually to those two artilleries. You can see they take damage. But I think this is nice if there is no navy. I mean, this is minute 15 and there is no one having navy. I think the main reason for it was this unit, the restorers. Everyone spammed ASF and restorers, and with the restorer being that strong, this one already has 21 kills. With the restorer being so strong, I think it's probably bad to build cruisers, and if you build those, or navy at all, the restorer is just too powerful. I should build mobile shields here, but there was, you can see now those restorers totally crushed that naval attempt. So in terms of score, we see Styrbjorn having the top score at the moment. The other rock player is pretty close by, so we see both air players being behind. The funny thing is the rock build back then was so similar to the air build, because usually no one built navy, so what you do is you do the same build as the air player, just you have a couple more maxes. So now we see laPPen in first place. Actually, all their all players are pretty close by. We see take 3 land for Mbalz. We see a spider here at minute 18 built by the beach. Of course, when you don't build ships, you can build an early spider. This, from the looks of it, will be a lot of trouble. He has a spider started, but of course, let's have a look if he has any idea. There is a spider. No. So this is from the commander view. There's a spider was, and he's gone. So the top side lost their first player here at minute 20. It's a sneaky spider from the beach player. In terms of ASF, it's it looks like the top side has an advantage. Sun Tzu having few ASF and Styrbjorn having few ASF too. Looks like maybe, I think even the North JunkieSmurf has more ASF than laPPen, so definitely an air advantage for the top side. We see now a strat bomber trying to kill the cruisers. Those cruisers have a lot of kills already. Now the spider is killing the front base, which is a pity for the top side. The break will not stop it. But we see a GC built by the beach player. We now see a couple of hover tanks. This luckily survives with 200 HP. Strat bomber taking out the GC, kills the spider. Minute 23 and no navy other than those couple of ships. You can see 3 cruisers will not beat 2 restorers. Actually they might, pretty close, but there's another coming in. Those have 7,200 HP back then, and they did a lot of DPS, so you can see problem solved for the top side. It was kind of state of the art back then to patrol your ASF somewhere over mid. Actually, we see this GC walking through. There are a couple of strat bombers coming in, but of course this will not solve the problem because the top side has probably more ASF. We see an airfight. It's pretty colored up here. You rarely see it. It's hard to tell who has, but it looks like the top side has air. You see now restorers coming in also. Look like there is really nothing to stop this GC. What does Sun Tzu do? Nothing. He's building gunships. Of course, when you lose air, gunships are not the right choice. We see a GC started by me. What does laPPen do? laPPen cannot build a good experimental to stop the GC. We now see total air domination by the top side, and this GC killing all kinds of Tech 3 mass extractors. The question is, will this be finished in time or not? It's almost halfway done, but the GC is standing still, losing valuable time. We see Tech 3 air. We see Restorer and Cruiser. I remember I have a Tech 3 air factory here on the island. Actually, this is pretty close, but I think I decided to run. I would probably have finished it if I stayed there, but of course I would have lost my life, so I decided to run. Actually, this is pretty advanced stuff by the other rock player. This was a Tech 3 transport loaded with 6 Percivals, so this would have been a lot of firepower. Good stuff here by Sage. Sage getting a lot of Ravagers, because of course when you don't have Navy you don't see a spider walking in, so he gets... this is a lot of mass. So let's have a look. What does the GC do? The GC now kills Tech 3 mass extractors. This is really unfortunate for the state of my base. It looks like this is not good air use. They should definitely keep air control over here. This GC is so valuable. This air must be here. You can see now Tech 3 gunships, a couple of more restorers, and we see 2 spiders by Sun Tzu trying to help out. Of course, I lose all my pigeons and a lot of Tech 3 maxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is really a pity. And now it's a bit late to send the ASF. Looks like now he's running to get the airfight in another place. Of course, this GC will die now. Maybe he gets another Tech 3 max. Yes, he does. So this problem is solved. Some nice reclaim, but that GC did a lot of damage. It killed Tech 3 maxes all over the place. Killed like 6 Tech 3 pigeons. This was a good GC by Blue Sun. Slowly this front base will be rebuilt. This doesn't look like there is an omni sensor for the bottom side. Of course, radar was not valued as high back then, although it was as good as it is now, so you always should have an omni sensor. Does the top side have an omni sensor? No, they don't have an omni sensor either, at least not up front. They have an omni sensor here, so they lost their front. So we have another airfight over here, which looks like the bottom side took back air control somehow. This greedy guy is stealing my mass and my base. Wow. Another spider being built. I see a lot of Tech 3 pigeons, SAMs. So this is really a secure position. We see Percival's here, we see a lot of engineering stations and a lot of build power on the ASF production. We see now another attempt, but this will fail again. The restore is just being too good. I think they were the main reason why Navy was not popular back then. So now we see 3 experimentals for the bottom side. We do not see a whole lot to stop it as for now. We see a couple of Titans and a couple Tech 2 PDs, but they will not stop 3 spiders. We see an airfight here over the island. The strategic bombers, and there were more Percival drops. Now I think this is probably a mistake by laPPen, and now I remember Sun Tzu getting a disconnect. This really changes this game. I mean, it's a huge economy. There was no full share, so if you disconnect and don't give your units ahead of time, you lose this base. So there's a pretty big loss for the bottom side. They're losing their beach player with a very huge economy. So now we see no other airfight. We see a sneaky spider being in the water here. Looks like they have no experimental here. We now see a couple of strategic bombers for laPPen. This base is getting rebuilt. We see a lot of Tech 3 build power, a couple of transports, I don't know what I was planning. We see some flag, some mobile shields, a lot of Tech 2 engineers and a huge restorer spam. Now laPPen fighting air, not a very good place. There are SAMs and flag, and now the strategic bombs come in. They are trying to snipe Blue Sun, but you can see his cabana doesn't even take a point of damage. So this was not a good snipe attempt, or well, at least it didn't work. We now see the spider and a couple of bricks coming out of nowhere. This is great stuff by JunkieSmurf. I really think JunkieSmurf and Sage, they were pretty good players, so they showed some advanced stuff. You will see he just drops 10 Percivals, and of course those Percivals will kill the spider. We now see Tech 3 UAF gunships, and the spider will live another 2 seconds before dying. So my lovely cruisers will now die. Of course they should have run or been running already. This is bad. Those restorers should never have gone in there. They're gonna die now to the superior ASF force, so it really looks like the top side has a huge air advantage. We now see a Fat Boy for Sage. He's building a satellite system here and planning a nuke D. Do we see any nukes? We see a nuke D for laPPen. We actually see a nuke here for laPPen. We also see an Omni sensor here. We see 2 Eye of Ryans. I don't know if that is very good, but 2 is better than 1. That's probably not true for the Eye of Ryan. Where are they used at, if they're used at all? Yeah, 1 is here. The second is here. I think this is a bigger radius than what you see now with the Eye of Ryan, so this is really nice if you can see a base like this. We see a GC built by me, walking into beach again. There is some restorer incoming. Of course, the gameplay was... there were so many wasted units. I mean, those restorers, not that this little number of restorers could have done a lot of damage, but of course you want to use those ASF with those restorers, and there was a lot of bad coordination. That is actually much better nowadays, usually. Usually the people talk to each other on Skype or write in chat and kind of coordinate attacks. You would not see 10 gunships going in with 200 ASF, or actually how many does he have? This is 159. This is 124. This is 86. Now see the fatty pushing forward. Don't know what it does get shot by. And the bricks retreating. There are a couple of Percivals for backup. We see the satellite. This satellite is trying to kill the Mbalz-Es, it seems. Not sure where it's shooting. Our fat boy is running. We see another huge airfight. We actually see ASF and by Mbalz. So this looks again like a huge air advantage. Those restorers took out the fat boy, but they will die now. Those cruisers getting a lot of kills, 10 and 12, and those are all ASF kills. That's pretty good. We see now strategic bombers going for the Mbalz-Es. We see another air force over the base. Actually, I think I got the commander shield. More kills for the cruisers. This is a huge gunship for
Strategic launch detected.
It's really dangerous for Mbalz-Es-Hari. This is a huge force. This is how many is this? This is 31 Tech 3 UAF gunships. This force will probably, this will melt down. You can see this is probably not even 10 seconds they needed to kill. This force should go through. They could have definitely killed him and killed this whole position. With so much air control with those gunships. Now we see another attempt by JunkieSmurf, and this time it looks like it will succeed. This is 18 Percivals being dropped. Of course, laPPen has Tech 3 UAF gunships too. This ASF should be over here very quick, and he does so now. Of course, those ASF should go there as well. We see 2 spiders by laPPen. Those Percivals trying to reach the water. And we now see a medium ASF force by Styrbjorn. Of course, fighting alone over here is not good. This is still huge air domination by the by the top side. Those gunships must be put to use. There's such a huge force. So those Percivals did a lot less damage than what they could have done. Some wasted ASF by me. This is a huge production now. This is Tech 3 engineers and Tech 2 engineers. This is a lot of engineering stations supporting 2 air factories. A huge power spam here. We see a lot of Tech 3 air factories and a lot of build power being put on the nuke by laPPen. We see a lot of engineering stations for Sage. And actually Sage is working on a heavy artillery here. You can see what it can shoot. So it can basically shoot the front base and a bit of my base and the beach base. You can see again restorers killing cruisers. This is 5 cruisers. This is will be annoying. This looks like dead Percivals. We see some Tech 2 PDs, actually quite a lot. GC, a couple of Titans, 2 Tech 2 Arties. We also see a huge air production for Blue Sun. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 air factories. Of course, I don't know if this is bad by me. I should never send my ASF in there. They're just getting killed by a superior force. This is not good. Meanwhile, this is where the Air Force is. And I don't know what my reasoning was. I'm probably just not paying attention. The satellite with 7 kills is now not being put to use. We see 2 spiders walking up the beach. Of course, now we see a huge air fight, and all ASF were given to Mbalz. You should probably not fight in this area. And I wonder if laPPen sees this. I mean, yes, he does. I mean, the Eye of Rhine is there, so those should definitely not go there. They will probably not do any damage. I mean, of course they killed 4 Tech 3 Maxes, but I'm not sure if it's a good trade-off. Anyway, spiders are gone. This looks like he's trying to defend Aeron cruisers with tactical missile defense. Of course they don't have it. This is an insane force of 45 UAF gunships. But it looks like the top side is about to lose air. We see a snipe attempt at Sage. Sage should not start a nuke now. He should definitely build Tech 2 shields to save his commander. I mean, he has a lot of SAMs, and the strategic bombers back then always missed on the first pass. But those are UAF, they have a rather big splash. Shields were very powerful back then. This commander should walk, and it does now. And this is tragic now. This had the potential to win the game. 45 Tech 3 UAF gunships, and they're getting slaughtered now. I mean, they had the potential if the front, if the top side wins air 45 Tech 3 UAF gunships are hard to stop. So it looks like no major damage. And there are a couple of flag, not so many SAMs. So it looks like now the bottom side has gained air control. Of course, the artillery is done, and the satellite is also done. The satellite is idle. 7 kills. So it should probably try to kill the same place as the RT. Actually some pretty good air micro here. He's keeping the ASF in that place so he doesn't get shot by too many SAMs. If someone knows any of the players who played in the game, which I don't know or their current names or their other names, you can post comments and on YouTube and tell me who if you know who those players are. I'm always very interested in name changes and what names the people had. We see a lot of Percivals. We see now again Restore is going in alone.
Strategic launch detected.
Not good. We now see a nuke by laPPen. I don't think that this is a good place. Also, you should back then you should never repair your commander. It totally drained your power. And the idea behind it, I think, was the nuke wiped out the front. The idea behind it was actually good because there was a bug where you could upgrade your commander for free for quite some time. If the commander is or when it's more costly to repair the commander than to get the upgrade, the bug doesn't work because it has something to do with repairing a commander. But it's now in FAF it's fixed. And now we see Soul Ripper going in. This commander should run. It should go back here. The Soul Ripper will go down, it seems. Now we see a lot of strategic bombers. This might be enough actually. And we have a second dead player here at minute 57. We see Megalith by Mbalz-Es-Hari. We see a lot of SAMs in this base now, but I think this game is pretty much decided. Satellite is not put to use. The artillery is still alive. Those gunships will finish it off eventually.
Strategic launch detected.
We have a nuke now by Mbalz. Oh, the nuke, he must have been sniped. You can see here with the wreckage. I did not get this. This is what bases looked like back then, late game bases. A lot of mass fabricators, pigeons, shields. This Megalith is pretty much uncontested here. I think this game is decided, most likely. And this is a huge base also. This is an insane amount of build capacity. You're getting support commanders, I don't know what he's planning with those. We have a spider in this base and there's really nothing to stop it. Maybe he should do another Percival drop. Because with so much air in that area it might be difficult, but he might also drop his Percivals here. If he drops 20 Percivals here, this Megalith will die immediately. Actually, this might be close with that much PD. It's not that much PD red, it's a lot of SAMs also. He should definitely help, but I think he probably has given up at this point. What are those getting? 11,200, I don't know what that is. I really don't know. -9. Don't know if that is gun, I don't know what it is. Now we see a lot of strategic bombers. What are they going for? Well, don't know. The spider will kill this position anyway. We now see a satellite by laPPen. We see ASF patrolling, killing drones. The Megalith is still alive with 104 kills. Looks like Blue Sun has thrown in the tower, giving up. This is a lot of strategic bombers and we see more incoming. Of course this commander is hard to kill. Looks like he has a power problem now. This is not good. Yes, he has a power problem. We see bombers by Styrbjorn, by Mbalz and by laPPen. And there goes the air player for the top side.
Strategic launch detected.
We hear another nuke being launched. Actually, I wonder if all players have res by now. Let's check. laPPen does not have res. I do not have res, of course I have the shield. And where is Mbalz? He has res. Nuke hitting the airbase. This game is totally over now. Just this last commander, it's Tech 2 commander, no other upgrades. I think it was a pretty entertaining game and it showed how this game, you can see all the strat bombs missing one max. And that was how it was. I think it was a pretty entertaining game, and actually it looked in the beginning as if the top side was total air control when they had this GC. Would definitely win the game. Pretty cool stuff. Off-mapped bomber. And now we see the last player down. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you know any of the top side, or actually if you know this front player also, please post in the comment section, and hopefully see you for the next Seton's cast.